Welcome to Keeping Up with Our Community, a podcast for and about Romeo Community Schools. Each week, we will invite different guests to share insights about some unique aspects of our schools. This podcast is powered by the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than MIT TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and you can even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan, and you can contact them right now via email at mit.tvromeo@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com. Hello, my name is Marianne Brush, and I serve as a Communications and Marketing Supervisor for Romeo Community Schools. I am your host for a series on fine arts throughout the district. In part one, we heard from our elementary art and music teachers. Now we have invited middle school teachers from our drama, music, and art programs to join us to hear about how the arts play an important role in shaping young people at the middle school level. Let me begin by introducing our guests. With us are drama and choir teacher Chelsea McKay, drama teacher Patrick Salem-Bier, band director Scott Hill, and art teacher Connie Delcourt. We'll begin with Mrs. Delcourt and give her an opportunity before we dive into music and drama. So Connie, welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. So just take a minute to introduce yourself. Tell us a little about your background, how long you've been teaching at Romeo, and what inspired you to go into art education.
Okay. I've been teaching since 2010. I'm what you call a late bloomer. I went back to school when I was 45, and I graduated from Wayne State University when I was 49. I have two children that were in Hevel Elementary at the time, and I was painting their murals, and I talked to Mr. Phillips at the time was the principal, and he suggested I go into art school. I told him I wanted to be a teacher, and he said, why don't you make sure you go into art teaching? And so I did, and finished my degree, and within the first probably 6 months, I got a job at Indian Hills Elementary. So I taught at the elementary level for 2 years. Indian Hills, Washington, Amanda Moore. I taught at all three of those for 2 years. And then the district moved me into middle school. So I taught at Powell Middle School since then. So from 2010 till now, it's been 12 years. My husband and I got married and moved out to Romeo in 1986. We have two children that went to the Romeo schools. We love it out here. We still love it out here. We have a new grandbaby who's 10 months old. And I'm also a sign painter. I used to do that before I started working with the district. I was painting murals. I did some for Hevel Elementary and actually some for Powell Middle School too. And then I worked for a couple movies, Oz the Great and Powerful and Transformers. And I kind of weaved that into when I started teaching. So here I am.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Got the best job in the world.
That's an impressive background. Well, let's just start with what's coming up, or actually it's in session, the annual student art show at Starkweather Art Center. Which is a great way for the community at large to see a representation of student artwork. So can you tell us a little bit more about what attendees might expect at the middle school level? We heard last week from the elementary school teachers, and so now we want to hear.
It's amazing. These kids, the ones that are really interested in art are really, really good at it. And I get impressed every single day with them. So like I said before, I taught at the elementary, so I get to see what they're still doing. And then you can see the same students when they get to middle school. And then you really get to see them right through high school, which is really a fun thing for me to see. A lot of the students that have their artwork up there, I know them. But it's very impressive. These kids are extremely talented. And so I would encourage anybody who could go see the show. It starts April 11th and it runs till the 26th of April.
Okay. And so since you came with a background in elementary, that gives you a good perspective in terms of what they're already prepared with when you take them to the next level to middle school. So we heard how they prepare for middle school. How do you prepare them for high school going forward?
Well, in middle school, they're quirky. They're cute. They're very self-conscious. Even the ones that are really good at art are very self-conscious. So they don't really always like to what can I say? Like, be creative with something. They want to do exactly what you tell them to do. So I try and encourage them to, think outside the box a little bit and think for themselves and try different materials and experiment, because I know once they get to the high school, I'm sorry, once they get to the high school, they're going to be more two-dimensional or three-dimensional. They're going to be choosing. So I want to give them an experience in both so that they'll be prepared for that.
So, do you have a favorite part of teaching at this level? I mean, especially since you can compare having taught elementary. What is the best thing about teaching middle school?
That's a big question. That's tough to say. I love their personalities. I love that they're not really secure with themselves yet, but they get so different from sixth grade to eighth grade. I love seeing the change in them. Um, as far as art is concerned, I can see them grow huge from sixth grade to eighth grade. It's great to see. Um, that's my favorite part. That is absolutely my favorite part. Or let me back up a little. Another favorite part: students that don't feel confident, but I can get them to keep trying and trying, and then it works. And just to see that look on their face that they did it, that's really cool too. So.
Any other proud moments or highlights, things you want to share? That anything I didn't ask you?
No, I think, Adam and I do our best to expose the students to a variety of different things. And sometimes we come together when it's the same grade level and we try and make sure that we're on the same page with everybody. We're not always teaching the same grade level, though. Mostly Adam does sixth grade and I do seventh and eighth. When there's an overflow, like right now, he's got some seventh grade classes. So, no, I think, we're just trying to teach the kids to be more independent thinkers, a
Right.
little bit more
Yeah.
self-sufficient.
Do you work with the classroom teachers much? Is there much
I
inter
don't really. I do on occasion, but it's not like we do collaborative. I do collaborative, but I don't do it with them. So it's not like we're doing a group project. Although Healthy Living and I, when I was with Miss Bennett in the at Powell Middle School, we did a really good one where her students were cooking, and we grouped them with my students, and they had to cook a meal, like a fake meal, and make an advertisement out of it. So half of the class was cooking, and the other half was making their pictures and doing the advertisement, and that was a lot of fun to do. But we don't do that a lot
Yeah.
at Romeo Middle.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So now we're going to hear from our theater and music teachers. Could you each take a few moments to tell our listeners a little bit about your backgrounds, how you came to be teaching here at Romeo? Let's begin with Chelsea.
I am new-ish to the Romeo School District. I taught in Illinois for about 16 years before moving back to Macomb County and landing the job at Romeo Middle. My previous school, I taught 6 through 12 choir and theater. And I graduated from Olivet Nazarene University, which is right outside Chicago, and I got my undergrad in music education and my master's in school leadership from there. And I have a lot of family still in the Macomb County area, and it just felt like it was time to move home. And after my first interview at Romeo, I knew this was the place I needed to land. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to continue the choral music program at Romeo Middle.
I'm glad to have you. Patrick?
Hi, I'm Patrick Salembier, and after teaching in Oakland County, I came to Romeo and have been teaching there since 2003. My wife is a teacher in the district, and my three children also attend Romeo schools. And I have a bachelor's degree in education from Oakland University and a master's degree in the art of teaching from Marygrove College. In addition, I have an Associate of Arts degree from Macomb Community College, where I also studied under Dr. Nancy Arnfield for theater. And I have a bachelor's degree from Western Michigan University in theater performance. And I have a bachelor's degree from Grand Valley State University in film and video. I have taught children's theater for a long time and have done academic, community, educational, semi-professional, and professional theater for many years. And in addition, I'm a member of the Actors Equity Association. So with all that background as a teacher, I've been wanting to get theater into the middle school because that's when I came to Romeo. I was in the middle school and always been there. And finally, we had the opportunity a number of years back to start up a program, and now we're building and doing great with it and having a great time.
And we'll be hearing a little bit about what's coming up. So,
Yes.
well, we're fortunate to have you here as well. Now, Scott?
Yep, I'm Scott Hill. I got my bachelor's degree in music education in 2004 from Central Michigan. And then I started teaching in Greenville, Michigan, which is a suburb of Grand Rapids. I taught there for 1 year, 6th through 12th grades. And then I got another job teaching in Hazel Park, and I taught there for 10 years. While I was teaching there, I taught grades from 5th all the way up to high school. So I taught mostly beginning band and junior high, and then I taught the high school jazz bands and high school marching band and things like that. While I was teaching in Hazel Park, I got my master's degree in music education from Oakland University, and then I came to Romeo in 2015, and been teaching here since. I teach the middle school, and I also teach high school marching band. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm also from Romeo, graduate of Romeo. So after teaching 11 years other places, it's really fun to be back and then working in the buildings and with even some colleagues that I worked with.
All right. Well, thank you. So, well, let's start out with hearing about what is coming up soon. That Romeo Middle School Theater is presenting The Wizard of Oz on April 26 and 27. So thank you for sharing your time during such a busy time. What do you want to tell our listeners about why they should attend and what they should expect when they do?
Well, I'll start then. We have a great group of kids doing a wonderful job at this show. People should attend to support the arts and their students, and they will see young actors working to improve their craft. Students are performing and working on the tech side as well as on the stage, and to put together a family-friendly show for all to enjoy. And they will entertain you with their version of a beloved classic that provides a positive message.
I think what's really cool and what sets our program apart is that we have students running not only on the stage, but we have them running the lights, we have them running the sound, we have them responsible for all of these big elements that a lot of times you don't get a chance to be a part of in a middle school level production. And so getting those kids ready and them being able to find their passion and find things that they love and starting that early, I think is something that's really cool and something when you come see the show to kind of think about when you're watching.
And actually, we even have some students that created their own costuming, sewing their own costume and everything. So these are a great group of kids.
This was just a passion of theirs, something
Yeah,
they wanted
something
to do.
they worked with sewing and making clothing and stuff, and so then they took it over and created their costume as well.
All right, I can't wait to see. I'll be sure and come and attend the show. So we're going from the sort of the specific to the general. In the earlier segment with elementary art music teachers, we talked about the importance of art in providing students with a creative outlet. Can you share how the arts are particularly beneficial in the adolescent years? Anyone chime in?
Yeah, I think all the arts. I'll speak more to the music side of it. I think well, in all the arts, it has students, it forces students to work together in a team. So especially where students are so independent and maybe not the ways that we want, with technology and stuff like that, which can be good and bad. But in the arts, it forces them to kind of put that aside and then work together to accomplish a piece of art. And theater, of course, but in music, the kids have to work together as a team to produce a piece of music, to show emotion, to portray something like that. It also builds their kinesthetic ability and their ability to decode. And at least in music too, it's like reading music is like learning another language too. So it's one of those things where they a lot of brain research has said, accesses many parts of the brain and forces them to really develop, teamwork skills and things like that.
Anyone want to? I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Do you want to go first?
Right.
Chelsea?
Sure. I think that too with the fine arts, there's a lot of students who sports is not their thing and academics is maybe not their thing, or that is their thing, but they want to find another creative outlet to do something different. And I've met with a lot of students and had a lot of students who this is their place where they shine. We'll talk about a student in a meeting, and they'll in their math class they'll be really quiet, or in their English class they'll be really quiet, and then I say, oh, they are not quiet in my class, or they have an awesome personality and they love this and they love that. And so it's just another place for those students who maybe athletics or things like that are not their thing, to kind of shine.
Absolutely. Being involved in theater is a valuable skill, valuable lesson for students because of many things learned through the experiences. Teamwork, cooperation, responsibility, problem solving, and ambition are a few of the many habits discovered through participation in theater. They learn life skills that prove to be useful in many aspects of life, including social settings, employment, personal growth. Students work on communicating ideas clearly. They increase their comfort for public speaking, which a lot of times is the number one fear of many people. They work to think more creatively and learn to work cooperatively with others to reach a common goal, to be more flexible and improvise. They build their self-esteem, confidence, perseverance, dedication, accountability, and problem solving. Theater enhances verbal and nonverbal expression of ideas and expressing oneself. They can work on the ability to give and receive constructive feedback. It teaches essential soft skills that foster empathy and effective interactions with others, aiding in human development regardless of a career path one chooses to pursue. It provides greater tolerance of difference of people and ideas, and theater works on listening skills, physical and emotional stamina, observation and following directions. It can improve school attendance, believe it or not, and provide a break in the core academic routine of a day. It provides exploration of the world from multiple perspectives while developing artistic skills. Theater helps students become well-rounded individuals. Furthermore, it helps them develop friendships. The family they build in the theater together is incredible. But being a person that who I am today, I think theater has really brought out a lot in me who I am today. And I highly recommend people to explore these electives in the arts, no matter what they are, because it really helps to stretch a student and let them grow in ways that they might not have chose before taking those electives. So whether they're just learning more information and trying something new, or find a new passion or hobby and something to take them and elevate them to a new level.
So what you're describing obviously applies at all ages, but yours, I mean, specifically you all are in the middle school age in such a pivotal, critical time. All those things prepare them for high school. So you kind of answered that, but any specifically like preparing them for high school? I mean, you, Scott, you work with high school students with the marching band, so you already know that age group.
Right. Yeah. And I'll tag on to what Patrick was saying. It's something that students start and stick with for a long time. So a lot of our classes, they'll start in sixth, seventh grade and then continue through high school. And then it's the relationship building and then the working together and things like that. So I've even heard, when kids apply for jobs and things that, that it can be kind of a boost if you've done some of these, extracurricular or not extracurricular, I mean, the fine arts and things like that. You have experience working with people, you have experience showing up to things and doing a job and being part of a team and, fulfilling a role, and being accountable. So I also think it really, students build a kind of practice habits too, because we're all involved in something where students have to practice to achieve and get better at it. And, it's like that with many things, but, it's, I think it's a little bit more with some of the fine arts, and, the practice really pays off. I tell students it's like working out. So if you're going to get stronger, then you need to pace yourself and practice the art that you are wanting to achieve better at.
Yeah. And it's fun to watch them take ownership of what they're doing. And so with all of that practice and with all of that learning how to be proud of something at the end, like putting in all of that effort and all of that time, and then seeing the final result and being so proud of that. And that's a skill that they can take to high school, and they can take on beyond high school too.
And I think the beautiful thing about it being middle school, this is that time that they're really trying to find who they are socially, emotionally, everything, and they're exploring. And I see middle school as a very exploring time in their life, Because if you look at the high school, they start to have to choose an academy to try to base it, and they're starting to focus more. So this is a great time for them to take on these different roles and try new things and really find out where their passions lie or what can help them in their future. And so I think I love middle school for that reason, that they can explore choir, theater, band, art, all these beautiful things, as well as all the sports and everything else that is commonly offered in schools, which here in Romeo, we are blessed to have all of that to be offered up to students, and not just sports or things that some schools only have to offer.
Well, thank you. Um, so now let's hear about some of your accomplishments, and I'll do the bragging for you. Um, some of the high points from the year. Chelsea, I understand the eighth grade choir participated in the Michigan School Vocal Music Association Choir Festival at Stony Creek High School in early March and received a Division I rating with 2 nearly perfect scores. Do you want to tell a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I ended up taking my 7th and 8th grade choir. I was my plan when I started teaching in Romeo. That was something I used to do at my old school in my old district. And it was something that I really wanted to do again, starting when I started here. So we registered. I talked to the kids about it last year. And I took them to Stony Creek. They had to perform 2 pieces. And they had to sight read, which is basically they get a piece of music and they look at it and they have about a minute and a half to look at it and then they have to sing it. And that was a very, they were very stressed about that at first, but that was their highest, that ended up being their highest score was in their sight reading, which was really awesome. And they were really proud of themselves as well. But it was a really cool accomplishment to start off our very first festival with such good ratings and high scores, and hopefully to continue that excellence as we continue on throughout the years.
Impressive. And Scott, I understand that the eighth grade symphony band students also did an amazing job at the Michigan School Band and Orchestra Band Festival at Dakota High School on March 2nd. Am I correct?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I want to give credit to Mr. John Phillips. He directs that 8th grade group. We share a responsibility for our 8th grade students. So that group did great. They got straight ones, all A's in every category, performing at Dakota High School. And then we had another group go, a mixed group of 7th and 8th graders, our concert band, and they got all A's and B's and just barely missed that one score, so they ended up getting a 2, but did a fantastic job. And I'm sure in your other episode, Mr. Phillips will talk about our high school groups that did definitely very, very well. Again, I love middle school because it kind of gets kids ready for all that. So for most of these kids, it's their first time going to festival and playing, perfecting this music to play on stage. And then we do the similar thing that vocal does, where we go to a room and we pull music out of an envelope and they start a timer and we have to just look at it and then play it from scratch. And both of our middle school groups got great scores. They got all A's in the sight reading, which is really fun as a middle school teacher because that means that we're doing the fundamentals really well and the kids are independent and can read and they're, can continue that forward as they move along. We also had a solo and ensemble that was back in January. We sent about 55 events, which involved about 80 kids, and we had about I think maybe 33 first division ratings and 20 something second division ratings. So we filled a lot of events and that was at that was at Rochester High School back in January. So lots of fun seeing kids sign up for solos and duets and trios. They get to prepare completely different pieces of music from what we do in the class. We had about 30 students do solos, which means that they're doing a solo and they're meeting with another adult piano player, and just kind of like coordinating them together is a lot of fun because then they get to work with another adult to put on this piece of music that's totally different, and their parents, get to hear them in a setting that's totally different than the large group stuff. So that was back in January. The kids did great, and we always look forward to that.
It's a lot of musicians to manage, and
it is. It's a full day. It's a full day.
And this is all voluntary. They do this.
It is voluntary.
Time in addition to what they're doing.
Yeah. We facilitate at the school, and I help students choose music and provide time and feedback and practice and all that. And then they volunteer to do that.
The same thing with the choir, obviously.
Yeah. We actually sent our first student to solo and ensemble this year, which was awesome. And she also received a Division I rating, and yeah, it was awesome. I was proud of her.
And this all goes back to what Patrick was talking to earlier about these opportunities give students, whether it's, opportunities to under pressure, under with judges, with these sort of very to shine and perform, and when there's really no risk, right? Because
Right, right.
yeah,
And it's fun too to see our students from Romeo here interact with, you know, other adults from other cities, because they play for a judge who's going to be a professional at a professional on their one instrument that they're preparing. So I always tell the kids, you're going to get different information from different professionals. You should get out and take lessons, go do these voluntary, solo and ensemble type events, because that feedback that you get, written and verbal, is just so useful. Just that one 5-minute event that they volunteer to do could really change their practice habits for the next year or two. So it's nice to see our Romeo kids get out again and just perform for other people outside of here and to get that feedback.
getting out in the community.
Yeah, getting out.
Yeah,
Of course.
that's great.
Yeah.
So if we have any elementary parents listening, just to give sort of an idea what they could expect for their students as they go into middle school in terms of extracurricular, is in addition to elective offerings, like band is a full year, choir is a full year. Like, tell me just a little bit about how electives are structured and extracurricular activities.
Yeah, so with choir, 6th grade is a trimester long elective, so they're able to put that into their trimester rotation. And then 7th grade and 8th grade are both full year. Those students at the 7th and 8th grade level, those are the students that go to festival. Those are the students that are able to go to solo and ensemble. So we need that time in order to kind of teach those basics and those fundamentals past 6th grade, to have that as a full year elective, which is awesome. I'm super grateful to have that as a full year elective. And then in 6th grade, they're able to learn the fundamentals, decide, like Patrick was saying, kind of an exploratory, decide if that's something that they love, and they want to continue on in 7th and 8th grade. And we offer that as well. We don't have any after school choir electives or choir activities, because we're pretty deep into the theater electives and the theater after school activities. And one of our electives or activities is drama club. And drama club is something that we do after school, 1 day a week, and we teach the fundamentals of drama. We play lots of games. We kind of get the students ready for whatever production that we are going to do, teaching them all of those skills so that when they get to their audition, they get to their into the show that we're going to do that year, they're ready for that. So
Yeah, theater, they can come and we have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade theater, and I teach all those. And Chelsea has 6th grade theater. And so those are trimester classes. So they can come and take those each of the different trimesters, and we kind of build as they go from 6th to 7th and 8th and what they study and what we work on. But like we said, the extracurricular is drama club. And on top of that, we also do productions for the community. So students are all able to audition and be a part of the show, which The Wizard of Oz is one of the shows we're doing this time around, which we just finished, the best Christmas pageant ever, earlier this year. So they have a variety of things they can explore in theater, whether they want to get involved in the classes, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, or just want to try drama club, or just want to audition for the shows. So it's not like they have to do certain things as prerequisites, but they can just join at any time at 6th, they can join 7th or at 8th, or all of them, and explore and learn and see what they like and build their skills.
Great.
Yeah. To add on, we during the regular school day, there's two hours of electives. Band is one of those classes that is a full year class in 6th grade. So for incoming 6th graders, where if they were to take a full year band, they would still have another hour of rotating trimester classes. We start in 6th grade with an option for students to learn to choose one of 5 instruments. So it would be flute, clarinet, alto sax, trumpet, trombone, and then if they're thinking of a different instrument, percussion, tenor sax, bari sax, tuba, French horn, there's many more. Those are halfway through the school year. So we start on these kind of 5 that get the kids learning to read music and kind of getting through the routine. And then right after, December break, then it kind of opens up to many more options for that. And then we divide the classes as much as we can by instrument groups. And then following in seventh grade, we have a seventh grade only class. We have a seventh and eighth grade mixed class, and then we have an eighth grade only class. So there's a lot of room for progression through the middle school, you know, band. And then we have an extracurricular, we have a jazz band club after school 1 day a week where that is for our seventh and eighth grade students. And that's completely voluntary, just a 1 day a week club where we get to explore a totally different style of music and play some like jazz, some funk, some blues and rock and stuff like that, and put on some concerts a little bit later. We start that up around November time, so lots of fun for those kids too.
Well, speaking of concerts, and all this preparation, all this work going in, what can the community look forward to? Are there any spring concerts, anything coming up in the music?
We have our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade choir concert for the final concert of the year on Thursday, May 16th at 7 p.m. So that's what we're doing in the choir area.
Band, we have a spring concert on May 7th, and then we also have we have a unique concert coming up on April 29th, and this is a collage concert. It used to have a really funny name, but we were kind of transitioning away from that. We used to call it the Mega Band Concert, and it used to be like 3 hours long and everything, but we've trimmed it down to about an hour and a half, and it's a better name is the Collage Concert. Some colleges, universities do this too, where if you've never been to a collage concert, it's where one group will play, and then as soon as they're done, no applause, and then another group starts up right away. And it's a variety of ensembles. So that's what we're bringing back here for our Romeo kids. So it'll be at, again, April 29th at the high school gym, and it'll be every grade from 6th through 12th grade. And you'll hear both jazz band clubs, you'll hear some of our solo and ensemble students that I mentioned earlier, you'll hear high school marching band, but it'll be unique because one group that could be in 6th grade could end, and then it'll be students who are just about to graduate going right after them. So we keep it moving and exciting, and that's coming up. So we're bringing that back. It's been gone for a couple of years. So
So this is the first time back in a while?
this is the first time back in about 4 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Something to add to the calendar.
Yeah.
Is there
And just for the theater, yes, we have The Wizard of Oz, which is April 26th and 27th. Anyone that wants tickets can go to rmstheater.ludus.com and purchase tickets, or buy them at the door if they're still available.
Okay. Well, is there anything else any of you would like to share? It seems sometimes I don't ask the question that I should ask.
I just want to give a shout out to my coworkers here. When our choir teacher was retiring, and you remember, Sherry, it was big shoes to fill, and it was like, how are they going to find somebody to do that? And then Chelsea came in as the choir teacher to take over that program, and wow, she's done an amazing job with that. She's just stepped right up and doing an incredible job with that. And in our you can see that in our Wizard of Oz, how these kids are singing. Everything's going phenomenal. So we are blessed to have her running that choir program and keeping that interest and building that program, as well as teaching the 6th grade classes and working with me with the theater shows and things of that nature, all that we do. And then to have Mr. Hill here. I mean, these are great people to work with, because anytime we have little shows that we do, and I throw it at him, hey, can we have your band come in and do some sound and play for us and everything? He steps right up and does it, as well as at the Oscars. We have their kids come in and they're in the Oscar, band for us and everything. So I think we have an incredible group of people working at Romeo Middle School. And even our administration, we're so grateful for them giving us the opportunity to do all this stuff that we do out there and to continue to grow our program. So I just want to give a shout out to all the people out there. And I think it's a great place to have your kids to come out to Romeo because of all that's offered and that they support us with.
Well said. I always encourage people, kids, get involved. I said, go do every activity you can, do all the sports, do the music, do the art, do the theater, not necessarily just saying, okay, you should just get into this, do it all, taste, that's what, Mr. Salenbier was saying too, middle school is about exploring and, finding your people sometimes and finding what you're interested in. And then you're interested in many things, then, I think our Romeo schools have many things to offer.
which Chelsea and I are seeing some of that with like our show right now with so many kids saying, I want to kind of join this too. And we're like, but we need you you're in the show here too. And so it's a balancing act for us, right? To try to
Absolutely.
get these kids and they commit to one thing, but yet they want to commit. And we try our hardest to allow them to explore and try all the other things. We don't want them to just focus one area only, but it does get a little difficult to try to keep kids, coming to rehearsals while they got this going on and that going on and everything else. But that's what middle school is all about, exploring.
And these are active, involved kids, and that's good. You want that. But yeah,
Right.
it does come
Yeah,
with its
yeah.
challenges.
Yeah.
I
And I think we're
understand.
pretty easygoing and with sharing kids too. So
Absolutely.
we encourage
Yeah.
them to get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you all obviously are very active and involved too and busy. So I appreciate you taking time to share with our listeners today. So thank you for
Thanks
being
for
here.
having me.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thank you.
Sure. So I want to thank all of our music, drama, and art teachers for their time today. We will continue this conversation with our high school teachers in our next episode of Keeping Up with Our Community. If you haven't had a chance, please go back and listen to episode 13 featuring elementary art and music. In the meantime, be sure to check out the Student Art Show at the Starkweather Arts Center, which is open Thursday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And be sure to get your tickets for Romeo Middle School's production of The Wizard of Oz, April 26 and 27 at 7 p.m. Tickets are available at the door or online at rmstheater.ludus.com. Thank you for joining us, and tune in next week to keep up with Romeo Community Schools. This podcast is powered by the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than MIT TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and you can even edit your podcasts. That's all right here at the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan, and you can contact them right now via email at mit.tvromeo@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com.